games today between some outstanding teams here in the Heartland. The Boilermakers and Butler to get going first, and then it will be Indiana taking on Notre Dame.
Well, what's so important in this game, Butler wants to control tempo in regards to shorten the game, shorten the possessions. While Purdue, because they're so potent offensively, they want to push the tempo, get the ball up the court, be able to spread things out. So it's going to be interesting to see early on kind of which mantra kind of wins out.
Both teams are comfortable with half-court grinders. Butler has been turnover prone. That's a beautiful pass. Bounce pass entry from Thompson right inside to Bryce Golden for the bucket.
Well, effective early. Again, Thompson, the ability for him to create opportunity, to see through the defense, to be able to get Golden that opportunity.
Looks like we're having a clock malfunction. A few technical issues across the way, too, partner.
You think so, huh? You say
By the
so.
way, you have a chance. I was about to say this, and then the game got in the way. You got a chance to win $1,000 from Fox Bet Super 6 today. Just scan that code, find out how to enter your 6 picks for today's game, and you could win very, very big. Download the Super 6 app to enter and play for free. See, they knew we needed to get that in.
But you know that doesn't apply to you. I'm just saying.
A little late. Stefanovic with the dump down to Williams. Looking to make that pass. That probably was knocked away beautifully inside by Butler, by Ty Gross. But that may be his greatest strength. In talking with head coach Matt Painter, he said, I don't know that I've ever seen a big player pass better out of the post than Painter.
Well, I tell you, the thing is they're going to do for Butler is when he puts it on the deck, like right here, this one was single coverage.
Yep.
And when you do that, Travion Williams will make you pay. So the dilemma you have with your Butler is when do you go double team? Because if you go too early, as you mentioned, he's such an outstanding passer. He can see over the defense. The thing would be is to come down when he puts it on the deck and force him to have to make a play, which he can, though, off the dribble.
Bolden, pick and roll. Gets it inside. Right back out he goes to Jair Bolden. So Golden with a nice pass. But Jair, the South Carolina transfer, unable to get it to go. Ivey lost it on the deck. Thompson comes away with tie ball. The arrow is to this end of the floor. It will stay with Purdue.
See right there, Trivia. I mean, but also the understanding of where the double team may come from. He gave himself a little bit more space on the baseline that time to be able to turn, use that left shoulder, create some space, and a nice little jump hook.
By the way, the Boilermakers have 3 players on their team that played in state finals games, played here just a year ago. I mean, these kids are comfortable on this floor. It's a magnificent setting, a tournament setting, really, for both of these games today. Ivey, too strong. Williams there to clean it up.
Well, anytime dribble penetration would happen, you suck in the defense a little bit because Ivey is such a potent scorer inside. You had 2 to 3 Butler Bulldogs that were looking to try to block the shot. That just opened it up on the weak side for Williams to get an easy putback.
Cross court to Bolden. Puts it on the deck. On the iron, uncalled. Williams with the rebound. If you had the over-under at 2, you won. Inside the runner, Thompson can't get it to go, and it's pulled down by Aaron Thompson for Butler. The inside-outside combination for Gross. He's got some real versatility to his game, number 4 in white. Keep an eye on him. He's going to be a catalyst today for this team if they're to hang with the number 3 Boilers.
Well, a little miscommunication, but very important that both Golden and Gross stay out of foul trouble. You see right here, Jaden Ivey getting downhill. Look, it's 4 Butler players around him. And that's the thing about help defense. You got to understand, too, if you're going to help, does he really need it? If not, you can kind of stay at home and don't give up those easy opportunities.
Ivey running the curl and he gets fouled. That's you're right about the depth factor too, Jim. I mean, you really are, because of all the sickness and injuries that Butler has had. That's really been their biggest problem this year.
Yeah, and it's hard to develop a lot of continuity when you do that. Now, again, every school is going to have to deal with it, whether it's injury, COVID-related, whatever it may be an illness. So they're not immune to it like anybody else, but it is challenging when you're trying to figure out who you're going to be as a team when you don't have your full complement of players consistently.
We should mention none of the problems for Butler are COVID-related. That is good news because we know it's impacted college basketball and all other sports this weekend. But not an issue here. It's a strep throat for Harris and some injuries that have been problematic early on this season. This is now a 6-0 spurt for the front-running Boilermakers.
And it's important for Butler that they limit those spurts to maybe 6-0, 6-2, 8-4. They can't give up those 10-2 spurts because it makes it difficult for a low-scoring team like Butler to get back in the game.
Taylor drains the drain. Jaden Taylor from Perry Meridian, right here in Indianapolis, and one of those freshmen we were talking about that is very comfortable on this floor. First, here's another freshman. Off the back iron, and it's run down by Bolden. Jair's become a real leader for this Butler team. That one goes crying off the front iron. Ivey. Nothing but nylon for him, and a little woofing after the three.
Well, but I like it because Purdue able to push it up quick. You get it to the corner to Thompson. The defense is still trying to recover. That time, Jaden Ivey was able to slide right into position to get that open three.
Thompson goes right into Sasha, and they're going to get him for the block. I think they're going to say he stepped in late, and you know what, Jim? He didn't have to. He already had his position.
But you know what? He may have been inside the restricted area. I think that's what the official pointed to was that he was inside. So that's where the call came from. You see, Savanovic is there. Even though he was sliding a little bit, and the indication is right inside on the block. But they called that on the floor because he's not shooting.
That's right. That's right. He did move a little, though. But I think you're right. But either way, I think it would have been a blocking foul, whether he had been in the restricted area or no. Our officiating crew outstanding today. Jeff Anderson, Earl Walden, and Bo Borowski. Not quite 4 minutes gone by here in the first game of 2 in the Crossroads Classic. Thompson trying to work pick and roll. There's Gross on the wing. Telling you, this young man out of Ypsilanti, Michigan, transferred from Eastern Michigan, playing a very large role here in the early stages of the 21 season for Butler. Wow. Williams with Bryce Golden all over him, and a turnover.
You know, so that means that we have to enjoy.
Indeed.
This last
time.
You know, ironically, Butler is 4-1 in this tournament.
That's right.
Versus Purdue.
Exactly.
And the two teams that want to stay in.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, it's a tournament setting in so many ways. Jair Bolden can't get it to go. And the big kid coming in off of the bench during the timeout, Zack Edey, the outstanding Canadian superstar, just into the game. He played in the under-19 FIBA World Championships and almost was MVP on a losing team. He's tremendous. There he is, right on cue, taking the lob from Ethan Martin.
And that play can be ran on either side of the court. When they get the lob to Edey inside, that time he was able to set the screen, roll on the backside, and the scouting report is going to tell you that that lob is going to be there. That time, Butler unable to take it away.
Ethan Martin with a perfect lob, a Sherman Douglas-esque around the
taking
rim.
It back to the general.
The old Big East days.
Yeah.
Bolden, shot clock issue now. Thompson will have to pump it. High off the back iron, taken down by Edey with an outlet to Ivey. Ivey tried to go crossover and got crossed up. Taylor was in the way. Tie ball with the arrow going the other way to Butler.
Well, we'll go back to the same play. The Edey right here really is a brush string, but how about kind of the back pick by Eric Hunter Jr. right there? That allows on Bryce Golden to get the lob to Edey. Again, the conversation, the communication on that pick by Johnson. Eric Hunter, his guy has to communicate that early. That way Bryce Golden can be able to get through and fight through that screen. That time unable to do it.
Seamus Lukosius is coming to the game, number 41 for Butler. He's got a nice stroke. Thompson navigates it to him. Gross always looking to take it. Up against the clock. Want to get off the rim. The first one from Lukosius goes crying. Look at that work by Thompson. And he'll get a foul as the end result. A little too aggressive that time.
But the thought process was right, because Newman just entering the game is kind of still cold, trying to get his feet wet, and Thompson right there trying to pressure. Just a little too handsy on that play, but I like the mindset behind putting pressure on Brandon Newman, who just entered the game.
Well, Butler got a layup on their first trip. Since then, 7 of their last 8 shots have been trays. They've really been depending on it since that time. Thompson has assisted on all 3 of the Butler field goals. Morton finds Hunter, who's been a very consistent player for the Boilers. Bit of a floor leader. They've got some depth and a lot of talent. That one's stripped away. Nicely done by Brandon Newman. End to end. He's rejected but fouled. But they may have gotten Gross there. They did. Could have been on Lukosius as well. Let's see. Well, they're going to get Gross his first.
Well, you see inside the strip, the ability to get out and run. Mason Gillis able to get it over to Brandon Newman. And Newman right here, I think, been struggling a little bit with a shot. Scoreless against North Carolina State. Maybe getting to the free throw line early will help. And I think a lot of what Brandon has to do, talking to the coaching staff, is that just slow down a little bit, allow the game to come to him, because he's proved last year what a valuable asset he was and can be. It's just a matter of getting back into that comfort zone, because a lot of his shots are coming from behind the three-point line.
In talking with Matt Painter yesterday, he was so concerned about how they would come out of the gates, particularly Travion. As you mentioned, Jim, he's always played better coming off the bench than as a starter. And he acquitted himself nicely, now getting a blow as they get to their reserves here in the second 4-minute sequence. Lukosius gives it up to Bolden and gets it back for the tray. There's Gross. He's all over the place on the offensive glass. They keep crashing. Finally, Edey pulls it out of there.
And that's a good offensive possession that time by Butler, but the result of not getting the basket just wasn't there. But you got the offensive rebound, the shot you wanted, but not able to complete the play.
Edey almost looks like a mismatch no matter who's checking him. Well, that was almost turned over a couple of times by Jaden Taylor. Hughes setting a pick. Lukosius goes open under. Has it knocked away. They've been up against the clock the last couple of trips down, Butler. Taylor, tough chance. Purdue's defense stifling. There's Edey on the deck, the big fella.
Yeah, and just when you think you have an opportunity to get a drive or shot, the Purdue defense recovers. And speaking of shots in transition, there's a shot you take, and that's the reason why, because the offensive rebound is made available. And Zack, he's on the ground, Zack Edey. Now, this is a guy that's 8 feet, okay?
Yeah, I mean,
that gets up, that runs the court, and able to gather himself and put in that offensive rebound.
Jim, we applaud Biggs for running the floor all the time. He not only ran the floor, he got a floor burn.
Oh, he did. He played excellent defense and didn't settle for being on the ground, and got back and was able to put his team in a good position to get 2 more points.
Meanwhile, these tough chances, they were 0 for their last 8, and Jair Bolden ends that drought and makes it a 3-point game. That was a huge basket that the Bulldogs really needed. The Boilers are a team that can get away from you because they will bring the talent in droves. Painter's already got 4 at the scorer's table, and there's an offensive foul. Scored 21 against Wisconsin and 20 against Indiana. And like Ivey, he spent a lot of time in Latvia in the under-19 FIBA World Championships, and his game has grown exponentially.
Well, but you see it a lot of times with post players, that their development, especially on the college level, takes a little bit more time than perimeter players. So that's why some of the inconsistencies may be there.
Thompson. It was close to a walk, but he got there.
Now, let me tell you something.
I mean, that was a magnificent move.
When he's aggressive like that, this is a different Butler team.
It is.
And he puts so much pressure on the defense when he's looking to score. And speaking of which.
How strong was that move by Ivey? Everything but the finish. Talk about hops. And Butler now 5 field goals from 5 different guys. Travion Williams doing his best to clean up as best he can. 16-13 our score. Thompson again. Not there, knocked away, last touched by Williams.
Well, Jaden Ivey able to recognize that the baseline is open. The help came a little late. You know, Bryce Golden not there, but again, it's the weak side. When you get broken down like that off the dribble, you don't have help. The big fellas like Travion Williams and also Zack Edey are in the position to be able to benefit off the missed shot.
By the way, you mentioned Edey just a moment ago. In 5 minutes, he gave him 4 points and 5 boards. That's not bad. Well, Travion comes right back into the game, and they actually extended their lead during that second 4-minute span.
Right.
This is a strong lineup here, though. Williams can come out and flash. Wreak some havoc out there. He's got such quick feet. Golden. A whirling dervish in the air. Couldn't get it to go, and a great block out by Williams. They are up in the rebounding category, 13-6. Not uncommon. That's what Purdue does to just about everybody. Ivey. Count it.
A little two-man game that time with Williams and Ivey able to catch and shoot, but that's where you want Ivey to be able to beat you, because when he breaks down the defense, it's a different game. Not that he can't make the shot. He shoots 39% from behind the three-point line. Excellent play call, recognition.
In the last 3 games, he's been at a 44% clip, so he's been really hot. That's Golden. Right from the elbow.
And that's what you have to do if you're Butler, because if you think about this, Purdue is shooting 54%. Butler's shooting 32%, but yet this is still a 4-point game. So Butler's still in the position if Purdue has to knock down the shot, Butler needs to come back and respond and keep the game in balance early.
And we've got a foul away from the ball. Little conversation going on there with Laval. Eric Thompson picked up the foul. It's his second.
Christian David is getting an earful right there on the defensive end about what he didn't do right.
So many guys that are available to him today but could not practice with the flu bug that they had earlier in the week. So, chemistry issues out there on both ends of the floor could be problematic. How about that? Thompson gets in the scoring column from deep, the largest lead of the afternoon, 22-15.
Yeah, coming into this game, Thompson was 14-26 from behind the three-point arc. So just picking off where he left off, still hot.
Golden. That time Williams got him ever so slightly. Bo Borowski wouldn't miss it. He knew it. Wry smile on his face.
Now Thompson able to get down here, but they do a good job of getting back in transition and not allowing the team to benefit from that.
Yeah.
So,
this is a majestic setting. As we were looking at the panoramic view of Cambridge, you see that opening across the floor. Yeah, it's like it's a little bit like Hinkle, only newer, right?
Hinkle-ish.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
But this is a great field house for viewing basketball because of the sight lines you're able to look at. The floor seats, the second level, third level, all have beautiful sight lines for basketball.
As you know, because you were working the NCAAs last year, as was Lav, everything was in Indianapolis except Butler playing basketball. It was very difficult on Laval and for this team. And I asked him, he said, you know, people were asking me, I couldn't go to any of the games. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I said, did you watch on television? Yeah, I had to do that. But it was really tough given the history that Butler has, especially in Indianapolis, for them not to be a part of the field. And they want to right that ship this season. Loose ball out of bounds. And it'll go the other way.
Well, winning the 4 games in a row, good win on the road, very good win on the road against OU, gives you the confidence of what you can do and who you can be when you're healthy. Again,
Absolutely.
You have a lot of transitions during the season. A lot of narratives do change because of a lot of aspects, but one game at a time, this is another one that if they're able to walk away with a W, you're talking about putting a notch under your belt. More importantly, the confidence is there.
Now, they haven't been able to get anything done in the paint. They've been perimeter-based because of the presence of guys like Zack Edey as well as Travion Williams. Only 4 points in the painted area. There's an easy one. Great find to go with it by Jaden Ivey, dropping the dime out of Lalamure Prep.
And that time Ivey may have gotten away with a little shuffle of the feet, but because he got so deep of penetration, again, he was under control, but the overhelp situation opened up the pass to Zack Edey.
Gross trying to use the ball fake to get past first. Unable to do so. And again, they're up against the clock seemingly every trip down. Bolden a step back. Can't get it to go. Pulled down by Ivey. And the foul spotted inside. Eden and Trevion, by the way, are combined 6 out of 6 in this game.
Well, watch this. Look, under control, but now you overhelp. Golden is already there. That means somebody else has to come down and pin down on Zack Edey, and you don't do that. You have, again, 2.5 players with eyes on Ivey, which gives up another easy basket inside.
By the way, we were speaking of Hinkle. Tony Hinkle credited for making the basketball more orange. Tomorrow would have been his birthday. Little historical
nugget. I like that.
There's Tripp against Jaden Taylor. That'll be his second. So he and Thompson, Taylor and Gross, all with 2. And that's something that's going to be concerning to that man, Laval Jordan.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, because a young man grow from his freshman year to sophomore year.
Son of the Notre Dame women's coach. How proud she must be. And, of course, part of the WNBA at one time. Dad is former Notre Dame and NFL wide receiver Javon Hunter, I beg your pardon.
Well, you see where the athleticism and the smarts come from.
Absolutely.
Been around the game of athletics since he's been out the womb.
Again, 5 on the clock, and Jair pulls up. Can't get it to go. Nice offensive board work that time by Miles Wilmoth, who's not practiced all week.
Yeah.
Thompson finds on the wing another 3-ball opportunity that does not fall. And once again, it's Zack Edey pulling it down as Christian David could not find that perimeter jumper. Butler's got to get something going from deep.
Yeah, they got to do it from there. But then Bryce Golden had an opportunity on the offensive rebound to convert it. So now you don't get that. You get a foul on the opposite end of the court. And now Purdue is in the penalty for 1-and-1. A chance to extend the lead even more.
Mason Gillis will come into the game to replace Caleb First. When you look at Caleb First out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, he is a typical Purdue Boilermaker wing player. Forward, strength. He's only going to get better.
2021, Indiana Mr. Basketball scored over 2,000 points in his career, so it's not a question if he can put the ball in the hoop. But again, you have to figure out what a team like Purdue, who has a veteran team, kind of where you fit in. And speaking of where you fit in, Mason Gillis comes right in.
And keep it alive for him, right? Well, give Wilmoth a lot of credit there. He went up with the big, tall timbers, managed to get his hands on it, but it's a tie ball, and the arrow stays down with Purdue.
Well, Laval Jordan knew coming into this game what a challenge was going to be to keep those big bodies off the offensive glass. Everybody has to stay engaged. More importantly, have to be more disciplined on the defensive end. And find the body early.
And another whistle. As Morton was making his move. Golden will get this one, his first. And it's 1-and-1 time, as you mentioned, so we'll get to see Zack Edey at the free throw line. 76%.
Yeah.
You know, it's not uncommon for European bigs to stroke it really well, facing the basket and at the free throw line. Of course, we gave him the television jinx. Some things never change.
Yeah, but listen. Now, here again, the little mental part. Edey misses. Now there's a foul or a play called here where Edey gets a chance because of a violation.
Yeah, lane violation.
Yes.
So a do-over, a mulligan, something we both like in another sport.
Oh, yeah. Take a mully all day.
Yeah. And then a stogie afterwards, right?
No, do it during the round. The stogie is always
that's right.
part of it.
I forget you're the modern-day Larry Loretti.
Come on,
I forgot it. I forgot that.
Well, whoever he is, that's who I am.
Yeah, he was a great senior player back in the day.
Okay.
Used to wear the +4s before Payne Stewart did. 32-16, so the Boilers have doubled up on Butler. 10-0 run. Hey, as we said before, just the last 4 or 5 minutes of this half, they've got to find the range from downtown. They're getting nothing inside. They've just been eliminated in the painted area. Thompson with that quick burst. Precocious. And again, those wing jumpers at some point are going to have to fall, or it's going to be a long day for Laval Jordan's team. Edey already with 9 rebounds, Jim. That's an amazing job. And their bench has just been outstanding. And a punch out there to keep the ball alive for Purdue. Hunter. And Lukosius brings it down for the Bulldogs. Bolden. It's about as open a look as you're going to get.
But it's a good shot in transition. Wilmoth able to use those long arms to keep the possession alive.
Jim, he's got 3 rebounds since coming into the game.
Well, he's been active, and right now able to step up and knock down. I mean, look at another shot, and from behind the three-point line right now, just 20%, 3 for 15. Got some good looks for Butler. But sometimes, too, when you're struggling shooting the basketball, you don't feel comfortable. You kind of rush some shots that you normally would take. Because this is a 37% free throw shooting team and another lob.
Boy, Morton and Edey have got it down, don't they?
Well, they work so well together. This time on the opposite end of the court, or opposite side of the court, Morton able to locate Edey just with a little eye contact to throw it right above the rim over, a smaller opponent.
34-16. Bench points now 12-0 for Purdue. And they've got so many interchangeable parts. It's like they lose nothing when they go to their bench. They fell behind early against NC State, had that incredible comeback. And there's an answer at long last. Bryce Golden, the Richmond, Virginia star, by way of St. James, Maryland, makes his way into the basket for a 34-19 game. Gillis was ready to launch. We got a walk on the dribble drive by Jaden Ivey.
Didn't get the start today. Didn't pout. Didn't put his head down. Came out and done his job.
8 of his points are in the paint. Butler's got 4 points in the paint as a team. And he's 1 away from a double-double before the break. That's coming off the bench. Thompson bumped. Going to get Williams there. And that's the second on Travion.
And important for Butler to kind of get through this little stretch, see if they can, in the last minute 28, try to cut this lead below double digits. Have something to feel good about going in the locker room despite not shooting well. I'm Purdue to kind of have some opportunities, but you think at the score and the pace is too what they want to play. They've just been unable to knock in some shots when they have the opportunities.
Lukosius gets it out to Wilmoth, almost knocked away for another pilfer for Isaiah Thompson. Up against the clock again, Taylor from downtown. Not there, and now it's a double-double. 10th rebound for Zack Edey. Stefanovic feeding Thompson. Boy, Isaiah Thompson, right now, he, along with Ivey, are just playing lights out in the perimeter. This is a tough Purdue team to beat when they get it going inside as well as out.
But it's the push. The push put the defense. Lukosh is kind of behind it. He went for the pump fake. Look at that shoulder he used right there. Lukosh is right there, able to knock it in.
Yeah, he's got some skills, this kid.
He
went
does.
For 8 and 7 in his collegiate debut against IUPUI. Being pressed into playing a lot of minutes with this team that's been so depleted by sickness in recent weeks, as well as some injuries to start the year. Stefanovic running that curl, looking for his first opportunity. He takes it when it comes his way. That'll be a block against Butler, and he'll get to the free throw line as the end result.
Well, this Purdue team puts so much pressure on you to guard the perimeter, but yet and still you have to guard the handoffs, whether they're the dribble handoffs or Edey up top. And that time, Stefanovic able to get himself in a position to pick up that foul.
Yeah, that's the third on Aaron Thompson.
Yep.
So critical stage to pick up that foul with only 6 ticks left. They quickly get him out. Wilmoth also checks out. Gross comes back into the game. Sasha out of Crown Point, Indiana, a senior player that can go for big numbers offensively at times, but not necessarily looking for a shot today with Ivey and Isaiah Thompson as hot as they are.
Yeah, we saw him against North Carolina State. His 12 points came in the second half in overtime, so he can get hot quick.
Yeah, he and Williams really led them back. And oh, by the way, reach-in foul late that Matt Painter didn't want. Looks like Gillis is going to get tagged with that one.
Yeah, but only the 15th foul for Purdue, so Butler not able to benefit from that quick push by Thompson because Purdue was able to keep themselves out of the penalty.
Well, fouls to give. They still have another.
Purdue, you just got to protect the paint. Force the ball to go to the corners or out near half court. Don't give up an easy layup inside.
And just like that, Butler forced to take the timeout. Magnificent defensive work by Painter's club. You know, through the years, Matt Painter's been so close with teams. You know, with Haas, we can go on and on about the opportunities that they've had. About every third or fourth year, you know it's going to be there. Matt, I think, now has to wear that moniker, whether he likes it or not. Best coach to not have made a Final Four. He's right there, just as his old coach Gene Cady did for many, many years. He's close with this team, no question.
Well, you think about it, 12 NCAA tournament appearances, right?
Yep.
5 Sweet 16, including 1 Elite 8.
Yep.
At the end of the day, he, like other Big Ten coaches, okay, it's great during the regular season. Can you win a national championship?
Right.
And that doesn't mean that he hasn't accomplished a lot. Remember, our guy Jay Wright went through the same thing
Absolutely.
at Villanova.
Yep.
Until he was able to get over the top and finally win one and then another one.
Yep.
But that just tells you how difficult it is, despite how talented of teams you have, to win and win big.
Bolden had it rejected by Edey. Man, what a half big number 15 had.
With Purdue, who can beat you inside, like we said, but also from the perimeter.
Well, you see, Edey is responsible for 10 of those 12 bench points that we were talking about statistically. They've just been a really fantastic team off of the bench, and that's really where they distanced themselves from Butler, and they anticipated. I mean, Lavelle Jordan knew this would be the case. He needs some perimeter jumpers to fall that frankly did not in the first half if Butler is to cut into this lead at all. That's just a great black wall once you get into the painted area, whether it's Travion Williams in there or Edey. They just can't get anything done with dribble penetration. Rose trying to get it inside there and leaves it off for Bryce Golden. Nice idea, but with only 2 seconds left on the shot clock, it was knocked away by Isaiah Thompson.
Well, because you're methodical offensively, being Butler, you find yourself, like you saw in the first half, getting deep into the shot clock, and it forces you into situations like this where you kind of rush a shot to get a look right here with 2 seconds.
Bolden off the front rim, and this one is run down by Bolden. Saved it to Gross. Nice job by Jair Bolden.
Excellent hustle. See if you can take advantage of it right there. And another opportunity missed. The Butler Bulldogs to put the ball through the net.
Boilermakers coming with the same starting 5 to open the second half as they did the first.
Yeah, a little zone defense here. Looks like a 1-2-2 or disguised 2-3 zone. But again, beautiful.
How about that pass from Williams?
And that's what I'm saying in regards to, now when you play zone defense, you're going to have some gaps. And Williams has found himself being very patient within the zone. And that time dropping a nice little down the first.
Thompson may have hurt himself as he was driving to the basket there. There was a whistle, so a foul did take place. Hope he's okay.
There you go back to the possession. Jair Bolden right there with the excellent hustle, trying to keep the play alive, and there the miscommunication on the back line of the zone defense in the over-help situation because Williams is such a threat. That opened up that passing angle inside the first.
Well, the athletic trainer for Butler, Ralph Reef, was about to come over and take a look at Aaron Thompson, and he waved him off. So he apparently is okay, but he is limping somewhat as he triggered that inbounds pass.
Well, but also Travion Williams is on the bench clutching his, looks like his left wrist.
Oh, beautiful pass by Thompson. And the foul given up by Edey as Bryce Golden gave him the ball fake before going up. Thompson just trying to walk it off now, number 2 in white, and he's got to stay on the floor for Butler.
You see Thompson, you attract the defense and then you make the play. Golden doing an excellent job of maintaining his patience right there on the weak side and not coming in too soon.
Golden can't get the first one to go, 70% on the year at the stripe. You know, he simply wore down at the end of last year. The injury bug hit them early and often during the COVID season. They played well in spurts, but they were often injured a year ago, and they're trying to just get healthy before the Big East schedule begins in earnest in January. 4 straight wins, though, coming in, and there's a getaway foul. And they're going to call that intentional. Borowski's going to call that intentional. Matt Painter doesn't like it. With 2 shots and the ball coming up. I mean, to some extent, I get it. Thompson definitely did not make a play on the ball.
No, but it first started by the quick hands of Jaden Taylor to knock it away. You know, those are the kind of plays you got to have on the defensive end of the court. Again, this is a tough Purdue team to kind of take all of their options away, but you do have to figure out ways to make them work, switching to a zone defense. Going to slow it down here. They're able to get the steal on Ivey and then out.
See, I think Isaiah's thinking, wait a minute, my right arm was pretty close to that ball, but Borowski had a different angle and said, nope, you were just impeding his process, therefore you gave yourself up. 41-24, Butler with the ball and an opportunity for a productive trip after the 2 free throws. Taylor, not there. Stefanovic hauls it down.
Yeah, another opportunity that time for Butler to cash in on an open 3-point shot, not able to knock it in.
Well, this guy's got a lot of pep in his step, doesn't he? Look at that high riser. Look at that high riser. 44-24. Everything coming up Ivy today for Purdue.
Well, I mean, it's just some guys are just better than the defense, and that time Ivy able to create that space because you protect yourself versus a drive by him, so you give him a little space and you force him to make those shots, which he's making you pay for now. Tip, I don't know if it was tipped that time, but Jaden Ivey right here, the crossover, cross right back, and they're putting Jaden Taylor on some skates right there, but his ability now to shoot the ball from deep that opens up every other part of his game, and he kind of let Taylor know just a little bit that it was going to be a tough day checking him.
And it'll go the other way after the turnover. Well, it's been a rough go today against a superior team for Laval, but all in all, he believes that his club is finding its way. They just need to get healthy. Listen, we cannot underscore enough what losing Chuck Harris means to them today. They need his points from the perimeter as well.
Well, he was a major part of Thompson get down the lane, contested shot, and stays here with Butler. But he was Chuck Harris is a major part of the scouting report.
No question.
Of what Matt Painter wanted to try to take away.
He had 26 in that win at Oklahoma.
Right. Well, the two-guard play when you have Aaron Thompson and Chuck Harris playing at his best is puts a lot of stress on your defense.
Wow, how easy is that? And that was even good defensive work by Golden. He got his hand on the leather, but Edey still managed to knock it down.
Well, you let a 7'4" player get it that deep in the paint, especially off of a lob out of bounds, it's going to be a tall task to not have him get some kind of positive result on that offensive possession.
12 and 10 for Edey. Golden, again, all those shots affected by the presence of Zach's size at 7'4". Stefanovic. That's Sasha doing what Sasha does. Timeout.
And, I grew up in that time period with John Madden. The voice, the knowledge, was this it? And then to transfer that over to video games, where you just, it's mad.
Oh, yeah.
That's...
chemistry is something that just happens, but you also have to work on it once you know you got it.
Yeah.
And John and Pat did all those years as Fox was born, and that saying that Fox is football, John Madden made that happen. Nice work inside. And that is something that Aaron Thompson's got to do more of, Jim.
Well, but that play was drawn up by Coach Laval Jordan to get him isolated there on the baseline. Now he had Edey on him, but he hesitated, took his time, and was able to get to the baseline, to get to the reverse layup, and good defense that time by Butler. Yeah, I'm not.
There are times when deceiving the public can be.
No, this is not the time, because we needed the exact answer right there. I had to give the audience what they wanted.
Indeed. Well said,
yes.
My statesman partner.
I got you.
Thompson with a little leap and leaner, and is rejected by Williams.
But another play out of timeout to get the ball into Aaron Thompson's hand. That time not able to finish in a quick shot.
Williams is foul prone, and this is something he's going to have to work on. That's one that he should have just let go. He got an over and back. That's going to be his fourth.
And see, in this particular game, if it stays like par, then it doesn't hurt.
Right.
But in a tougher situation where the game is in balance.
On the road at Ohio State, maybe Wisconsin.
And he's created, let's say, foul trouble in the first half.
Right.
Those are the plays that you got to kind of get out your system more, so the decisions that you have to get out your system, because it will come back to haunt you and your team.
Particularly if you're starting. If you're coming out of the gates, we talked about how comfortable he's been traditionally coming off the bench. There's Golden knocking one down inside the lane. He got a little tweener to fall. He's up to 11 on the day, 4 out of 8 from the floor. Hunter has come into the game, as has First. Ivey, beautiful pass to First. Ivey's just doing it all. Dropping dimes, knocking down trays, finding the open men.
But it's the quick decisions of passing the ball from the strong side to weak side before the zone shift that gives and provides Jaden Ivey with that driving lane, ultimately ending up in first hand for that layup.
Boilermakers have 6 dunks today. They have been playing above the rim. Thompson in traffic draws the contact from Stefanovic.
Well, Jimmy, this is how you work against the zone. The ball goes in, look weak side, you drive, and then you create an opportunity in the passing lane for your teammate. But again, all quick decisions by the Boilermakers. The zone is going to be benefited if you hold the basketball. For Purdue, that's not the case.
They actually tagged Eric Hunter with that foul rather than Stefanovic. Thompson at the line, and first will check out. Gillis will come back in, as will Ethan Morton, number 25, to give Ivey a blow. Touched on the importance of Aaron Thompson at the top of the game. He did hurt himself on a drive to the basket a moment ago. They really need him to perform and play a lot of minutes today under duress, because they're rolling waves of guards at him for Purdue.
Yeah, well, again, the challenge is you only got 28 points right now, and we're ticking down in the second half. And Stefanovic right now able to add to Purdue's misery, to Butler's misery right here with another 3. And that's the challenge I talked about before with Butler, is that because you don't score enough and you kind of have a ball control offense, that it makes it extremely difficult to get down big to an opponent that is as explosive offensively as Purdue is.
Stefanovic is just a guy you can count on, sort of a glue guy. Precocious with an air ball. It was saved by David, but right into the waiting arms of Ethan Morton.
Too deep.
Beautiful pass. Beautiful pass to Gillis. Wow. And everything working now.
Yeah, but that's just too easy. You save it, and Morton is able just to trot his way all the way down to the lane and just drop a dime inside. That's not the Butler defense that we're accustomed to seeing.
Look up and you see that big wall of Zack Edey, and you say, gosh, this is imposing. And I think right now it's gotten into Butler's head because they are struggling with open looks too. Precocious got some good position there to bring that rebound down.
Yeah, but on that last defensive possession, it was Sasha Stefanovic one-on-one defense on Lukosius that caused that turnover. That's just taking pride on playing your man one-on-one.
Thompson, again, that runner, he's trying to sneak it past the big fella. Unable to get it to go. And now Laval Jordan in the unenviable position of trying to keep his guys heads up. With 12 minutes left, this could really get ugly if Purdue keeps playing at this clip. Edey again using the window pane.
Great heads up by Edey, too. He didn't bring the ball down. That time he got it, pivot, turn, backboard, 2 points.
Bench is now up to an 18-2 lead in that category. And yet another 9-0 run for the Boilermakers. Mistimed opportunity there. He was hoping for that. They've got 8 different players that have an assist. And in this half, 8 field goals on 7 assists. So they just keep on keeping on here in the second. And a reach-in foul, a little overly aggressive that time, was Miles Tate. He picks up the foul.
Well, what makes it extremely difficult for teams to guard you is when you don't rely on just trying to go one-on-one. Now, every now and then, Jaden Ivey, because he gets it going, you just got to let him do his thing. But what makes this Purdue team so tough is that the ability to move it from side to side, shift the defense, make the right pass, and then be able to finish that possession either with a shot or inside. You see a foul inside. That time picked up by DJ Hughes. But that's why they're such a tough and efficient offensive team.
These are proud kids from the Indianapolis area, many of them for Butler, and this one is tough for them to deal with, particularly knowing that they don't have all of their offensive artillery without Harris. And coming off a game where they played so well against Oklahoma in Norman. They won 4 consecutive before coming in here after a tough start because of injuries and sickness. And that's just sort of followed them like a dark cloud since a year ago. Here's Tate on a dribble drive working on Ethan Morton. Bolden is a guy they really count on. He's a bit of a floor leader, kid out of New York. Tate can't get it to go. Out of bounds, it belongs to Purdue. You just see their heads hanging, shoulders down. Laval trying to keep him up. Bolden is still talking to his teammates. He's relying a lot on Jair at this stage. And they're also getting some extra minutes out of Miles Wilmoth, who did not practice all week long. He's been pretty effective on the boards, but just has not been able to scratch offensively. Edey, beautiful pass, and the backdoor cut from Gillis.
Bulldogs the foul.
And he'll get to the free throw line.
Man, just cutting again, and
The team's third.
there's a lot of gravity attracted. Zack Edey touches the ball inside, and right there, able to see over the defense and bold on that end of the court when you're a smaller opponent, defender inside, and it puts you in a precarious situation when you have to rotate over to a cutter, especially when you're about a half a step behind. That size now becomes a factor against you.
Gillis at the line. Newcastle, Indiana. Tied a career high with 12 points against Iowa back on December 3rd. Only tied with 10-plus points. This is now an 11-0 run for the Boilermakers. Gillis also an outstanding baseball player, and decided to give up the game to focus on playing basketball. Thompson again, just trying to shake and bake and get something done. Ethan Morton with good on-ball defense that time. It's out of bounds, control to Butler.
Well, it's in a situation, too, where Val Jordan and the coaching staff are building towards something a little bit bigger. It's always tough to teach in these situations when you're down big. Again, you talked about just the rivalry, just because a lot of these young men are from Indiana, familiar with each other, and you want to come out and perform and play at your best. And if you lose the game when you're playing your best, then you just shake your head and you say that the team was just better. But right now, because of the coaches right there able to get the shot off and go and able to rebound, you don't have your full complement of players. You feel like you're cheated a little bit.
This is your hometown team. I mean, they feel that. You can see it on their faces. And
but I tell you what, Purdue's not going to feel sorry for them.
Absolutely.
As they should.
Williams playing with 4, popping out. Has to be careful if he wants to stay eligible. Not add to that tote board. Bro, what a pass again. From outside in to Gillis. And he'll get to the line. He's just smiling from ear to ear, Travion Williams. I think he enjoys making an assist as much or more than a dunk.
Well, listen, when your first or second best player enjoys setting up his teammates for success, it makes the game a lot easier to be able to go out and perform, and more importantly, you're having a lot of fun during the process.
Yeah, that's right. I want to ask you something, Jim, because I know you're dealing and calling a lot of NBA games. You see these players. We saw one last week, Kofi Cockburn with Illinois, a quintessential back-to-the-basket post player. Williams is too. I really thought Swanigan was a pro. I mean, I did, and it hasn't panned out. I'm curious where you see Williams, and maybe even Kofi too, at the next level. Is there a spot anymore for that kind of player at the next level?
Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he's there. I mean, so the spot is there because of defense.
Just not many, though.
But that's okay. All you need is one. You just need to be that one. In regards to Williams, though, the beautiful part at 6'10" is that he can float between 4 and 5.
That's true.
His ability to pass the basketball, to rebound, to post up, to be able to knock down the perimeter shot, and the switch, like right there on defense. Oh, beautiful pass.
What kind of precocious, with a precocious pass. Man, that was nice.
You need a few more of those if you're Butler, but
Indeed.
to cap out Williams, he has the makeup of today's 4-man in the league. It's just finding the right opportunity.
Yep.
With the right team. And I think the game opens up for him more in the league.
Butler foul. Bryce Golden.
Look at that. With Luke Walton, Dwayne Wade moving up with 20 points, 10 boards, 9+ assists, 4 blocks in a single game.
Yeah.
He's up there with some of the finest, no doubt about that.
But you know what the pros are like about him, too? Is that remember when he came into, and that's his pet move right there, that little crossover. When he came into Purdue, he was overweight.
Yep.
He showed the dedication of shedding those LBs, put in the work, got his body, his mind right, and now he's performing at a high level. And the guys in the league, they look at that in regards to the dedication that you put yourself through to become a better player.
And I think over in Champaign, Illinois, that's where Kofi Coburn is too. Now, he may not have the versatility of a Williams, but he's working on it. You know, that's something that he's trying to get into his game, some greater versatility. His coming out party, you and I were on hand for it during the COVID season at East Lansing, when they sort of came out of nowhere and stole one early in the season. I think it was in December of last year. And he just got on a roll after that. Golden fading away, gets that one to go. Well, he has sort of answered the bell here in the second half. 7 of 11 from the floor. The rest of the team, 6 of 36 for Butler. So Bryce Golden has been the one answer that the Bulldogs have had. Newman and Golden the rebound.
Well, but you also got to credit to the Purdue Boilermakers, these young men. See Williams right there, Wilmeth with the shot, is that they didn't buy into the narrative because Butler was short-handed that they weren't going to play hard.
Right.
And that's when you have an experienced team that came in focused from the beginning and took care of their business.
Nice ball fake by Newman. Can't get it to go. First is there for the follow. They are just crashing the glass, owning the boards. So any miss, you know they're going to clean up. 6 points all this half for Caleb First. Golden. Not this time. Taken out of there by Ivey. Man, he's just feeling it. Everything's dropping. Merry Christmas, baby. He's feeling it today. He's 5 for 5 from downtown.
But he hasn't had to force the opportunity. He just used that high pick and roll right there to his advantage, and then the ability to stretch out and hit those tough shots. And speaking about a tough shot, Jaden Taylor right there on the reverse.
He had to work hard to get that one, the young man from Perry Meridian here in Indianapolis.
And Ivey, talking about efficient, 19 points only on 9 shots. 5 for 5 from behind the arc.
23 is playing like another 23. And he's throwing up threes with that right hand like a cool hand Luke. And they're on their feet. The Boilermaker fans are lapping it up. 72-36. He's got 22. Thompson taking it inside and draws the blocking foul. Well, if he's done, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is done, I think Matt may be getting as many guys off the bench as possible the rest of the way. If he finishes 6 out of 6 from downtown, and that's where he would finish, that would, if you do the math, it's the best three-point shooting game in college basketball this year by anybody. Not there for Isaiah Thompson, but he'll get it again.
He reset the clock.
Yeah, they got a clock malfunction. Yep.
But twice in a row, Travion Williams passes it out the post. I mean, that just talks about the unselfish nature of this Purdue team. He could have easily kind of, like, we're up. Let me go ahead and get my basket. But even after the air ball that Thompson shot, he zipped it right back out to him.
Yeah. By the way, Matt, one of the things he's done in recent years, he's sort of going the path of Jay Wright and the path of Coach K before him with USA Basketball. Here's Williams up against the clock. Got to put it up. Almost banked it in. Crowd responded as though they were at a hockey match. A collective, at the end of that one. But you can see the influence of the international game and so much of what they're doing. There's Gross off a nice feed inside. Ty Gross, the transfer, makes it 72-38. Only 5 in the game for him today.
But also, too, you know, so you see Aaron Thompson right there, the steal. Isaiah Thompson grabbed him too. The official was like, nah, we're going to let that.
Let's just play on.
Yeah.
But they do get it over and back on the trigger end, so Butler's going to get it back. And Matt just shaking his head.
But, to piggyback off what you said about Purdue, you think about this when you have all 5 starters who return. You're talking about building the program.
Right.
When you have mature players that have been in the system, you don't have to teach as much, so your learning curve coming from season to season. You see great defense that time, able to knock it away, Eric Hunter Jr. You don't have to teach as much.
Right.
When you have young squads, young teams, now you have to really drill in on the little things, and you can't implement a lot of your offensive and defensive sets because those young teams are still just trying to learn how to play at this level.
And by the way, these young guys, some of them play 3-on-3 internationally, and they'll spend time in Latvia, they'll go to Lithuania, they're all over the place. And what he's done, what Matt's done, as Newman launches from downtown, is he's taken on, the under-19 responsibilities with USA Basketball. He gets to know not just his own players, but everybody that's out there.
A prime example, too, even, Seamus Lukosh has kind of struggled a little bit today.
Right. Beautiful foul there.
But a lot of the European players that come over that play in the Euro leagues are a little bit more mature because they started their professional careers, age 15, 16 years old.
Yeah, he was going on and on about Edey because he had seen him play in that tournament, and even though he was with the Canadian team, he said, you and I will have that a half hour after the conclusion of this one. Indiana almost always has the largest contingent of fans on hand during the holiday week here at the Crossroads. And we look forward to that matchup. Gillis tried to save an errant pass and did so. Morton for 3. Ethan Morton bags 1.
Yeah, but prototypical of what's been happening with this Purdue offense, Morton initiated the play with the pass to the corner on the opposite side, and somehow the ball found its way back to Morton in the corner for that 3.
Gross with a show and go. Got past Williams. And he's on the deck and will make his way back up.
Another assist, made field goal right here by the Boilermakers. Eric Hunter Jr.
Morton, by the way, he battled mono all last season. He was out of the lineup for a long period of time.
2 shots.
His high school basketball coach was Matt Clement, former Major League Baseball pitcher out of Butler, Pennsylvania. And here's Gross at the free throw line. A lot of high school basketball coaches, one would suspect, in this building today. A lot of proud high school basketball coaches.
1 left for Gross.
You think of state championships in football, and you almost always think of Texas, California, Florida, Ohio. In basketball, you think of Indiana first when it comes to high school championships. And they have them right here in this building.
Yeah, the tradition, just the love of the game.
Oh, yeah. Go down the street and find Oscar Robertson's high school.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That Corpus Christi?
Yep. Williams with a little floater. A lot of flow in his game. 77-42. Jaden Taylor can't get that one to go. Now, Val knew coming into the game he was going to have to get a lot of perimeter shots to fall, and they just haven't today. Precocious with a takeaway. Outlet to Taylor. Count it, and a foul.
Jaden Taylor.
Well, they're still playing hard, Butler.
The Purdue foul charged to Brandon.
Yeah, one of the few opportunities for Butler to get out and run. Only 4. This will make 4. He's able to complete the 3-point play, 5 fast break points.
Well, Newman picked up 5 fouls somehow and is out of the game, so he'll leave. That'll get a lot of Boilers up. Some walk-ons are going to get a taste, and the crowd is going to enjoy this.
Changes for the Boilers.
So in 11 minutes, he got 5 fouls at Newman. That gives everybody a break, and they all stand for Morton and for Williams, Gillis, Hunter.
But, this has been a nice little stretch of games for Purdue. Going back to that Florida State game, you had Iowa, Rutgers, North Carolina State, now Butler. Get a little bit of reprieve, a little bit Incarnate Word coming up.
Yep.
Nicholas State. That's before you have to play a tough Wisconsin team.
Right.
So they've been able to get tested early and often. Took the setback, but on the road at Rutgers at the last second shot is nothing to hang your head at.
No.
Now they did give up some things when they were up, which the coaching staff pointed out that they kind of allowed Rutgers to get back in the game because of their mistakes. But fair enough, it was going to be a tough and fun and competitive Big Ten season.
Yeah, you can make a case that this team could win. I know they're playing 20, Jim, and I know it's tough to play on the road in Columbus and Madison and Champaign, but they have the potential, to really threaten, the kind of season that, you talk about once every decade or more. They're that good.
Well, they are. But like last year and this year, it's so many things that are going on outside of their control that impact ultimately what you do on the court. There's no question from a roster perspective that they could run off. You see the schedule right there, that they can run off multiple games. But as you know, in the Big Ten, like a lot of the Power 5 conferences, winning on the road becomes extremely difficult. Hence what happened at Rutgers.
By the way, Ivey will finish 6 out of 6 from three-point range. The last Boiler to go 6 for 6, Dakota Mathias, in 2017. He went 6 for 6 against Fairfield. He's been number 1 at Purdue before, and they were comfortable in that role. But I think that loss at Rutgers and the first half performance against NC State woke this team up. They're playing at a very high level right now. Look at that work by Wilbrand. He helped create that turnover. Now he's going to get some help from Frost. Young men that helped this team out a lot in preparation. Martin taking it right to the rim, but can't get it to fall. The coach just brings it down.
How about Martin?
Strong move.
Well, but Chase Martin is the son of.
Yep.
You know who?
Yeah, Conzo Martin.
That's right.
Turn around, won't fall for Tate. And here's the follow by Hughes.
DJ Hughes.
DJ from Lawrence North here in Indianapolis. It's in the scoring column, 77-48. Ivey will finish with 22, 6 out of 6 from downtown. Edey, the Canadian assassin, 14 and 11 off the bench. It would take some Mounties to take care of that guy.
No, 7-4, brother.
Woo, he can handle it. And Matt Painter's team rolls on to 10-1, and we'll have a Merry Christmas.